I'm passing the ball to the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. I really want to thank you, Christos and Konstantina, for inviting me and having me in this meetup. I'm really honored that I'm gonna speak here. Yes, so I want to thank everybody here and everybody watching in the future. Hello, future people, for attending this presentation and taking the time. So today I have prepared for you a data engineering standardization framework in Python. So we're gonna go over and see what this is all about. So the main highlights of this meetup is going to be two semi-live coding demonstrations to practically show you what I'm talking about. So who am I? So my name is Vasileios Mourtakos. I am a transportation civil engineer from NTUA, Athens. I'm from Greece. I'm also a PhD student, and right now I work for Refurbed in Austria as a junior data analyst. I would really like to thank two of my dear colleagues, Felix and Tina, who part of the code that you're gonna see in the next minutes is partially written or modified or inspired or discussed with or by them. So yes, thank you guys. Really excited for this. So what is this about? So most likely, most of us watching this presentation are data professionals or are interested in data manipulation. So in the day-to-day professional life of a data professional like analyst, engineer, scientist, or otherwise, you would have to use some boilerplate code in order to get through your tasks. Most likely, this code has been used in other tasks or projects by yourself or other colleagues. So a boilerplate code, for those who are not familiar, is a code that is repeatedly in use with little to no modification. So you would reuse between projects without getting it changed. So what would this code be referring to? It could be referring to authorization pipelines, like authorizing to Google Cloud or other APIs that you might have, input-output operations like compressing, decompressing, and otherwise, data operations, which we all know how much pain you can have by working with dates and date times, logging setups, querying in SQLs, which we very regularly must do, visualization, caching, testing, etc., etc. So the ambition of this presentation is to practically indicate the steps and the benefits that you're going to have by standardizing the most common processes of your daily work in your organization in a reproducible manner and in a data engineering framework. So to achieve this, the plan is to have two demonstrations. Firstly, a simple stakeholder request to simulate it in order to outline what are the cons of a quick and dirty solution that you might do in this occasion. And after that, to present some additional, more complicated requests, again, fictional and simulation, to clearly indicate the benefits of curating this custom data engineering framework that I'm talking about, which is also going to be developed and utilized in this live demonstration. Yeah. Did I skip anything? No. Okay, cool. Okay, so for the simple request, we're gonna just say that you have some stakeholders and they ask you to provide them with, let's say, a daily monitor of the amount of sold products and their mean price per country and supplier. No big deal. So they also inform you that there is no rush and you can do it in your own time, but you have like 30 minutes to do it before a big presentation. So take your time. So the specification for these requests, for this request is going to be the following. So firstly, the transaction data are going to be appended in a table in Google's BigQuery at midnight every day. So for those not familiar, BigQuery is a fully managed by Google serverless data warehouse that enables scalable analysis over like petabytes of data. It's a platform as a service. The supplier data are manually updated by your stakeholders in an Excel file in your storage service of your organization. Sorry. we use SharePoint, for example, which is a web-based collaborative platform, like a document management and storage system. The results of this request, of this effort, have to be integrated in a table in your organization's database. Could be in any SQL database. And so it has to be in this in the organization database. So then it can be utilized by your BI tool. In my organization, we use Looker, which is a great tool. It's a business intelligence and data visualization platform, again, developed by Google. We love Google. It has also some other benefits. It has its own language, LookML. It's an SQL-based language, and it can aid you to create dimensions, measures, and then structure your data, create dashboards, and all these nice things. So it's important to incorporate this in Looker, for example. And then you are required to take a daily snapshot of the raw data you extract every day from this pipeline and save it to Google Cloud Storage, which is just a web service of Google for online file storage. Finally, you want this process, this pipeline, to be automated and executed daily. So you could do that, for example, with by utilizing Google's cloud functions. So to go for the first demonstration, the quick and dirty solution. So the quick and dirty means that it is a fast solution. It's not elegant. It might not be elegant or efficient or maintainable for the long run, but it's working now and it's very fast. So the trade-off of speed might be less readability, less organization, less documentation, etc. So you will see in a minute that to solve this very straightforward problem, the code required is actually quite simple. Nonetheless, to complete this task, you have to go through the data engineering side. That would be to authorize to Google Cloud Platform, to authorize to the directories on SharePoint to access the Excel file or files, authorize to Looker, execute SQL queries against BigQuery and your organization's database, upload files, develop a cloud function. There are a lot of stuff. So let me jump to the first demonstration. Hopefully you do see now the code. Can someone confirm that you're seeing code and not presentation right now? Cool. Thanks, Giacomo. So yes, so the first thing you might do in this occasion is you would like open a notebook. This is PyCharm, my ID of choice. This is just a regular Jupyter notebook. So you would like import a piece of your data set and go through it. So this is what I'm doing right now. Very nice. Yeah, anyway, it doesn't really matter. Sorry. Yep, so this is a Kaggle data set. This is no data from my company. Disclaimer, it's just a Kaggle data set, a random one that I'm using for this showcase. So you would just go through the data that you have. And I want to note here, otherwise, nothing really matters here in this demonstration. It's just a show of a quick and dirty solution. When I open a data frame, I like to lower the columns and replacing dots and all that. So there is a reason why I'm saying this. Keep an eye for it. So you go through your data set. So there's the suppliers one. So I randomly generated some of it. Fun fact, ChatGPT helped me come up with some names for suppliers. So I just go through some random suppliers and assign them stock codes to match the previous data frame. Again, as I said, I like the columns to be like this. If I have a point to make with this. And then you would do whatever else you would need to do to finish this request, like merging or erasing some nulls and all that. And then do the final group bys and everything else that you might do to finish it. Yes, make sure that you have the desired aggregates for the finalization of the request. Again, I'm not going through every single thing because it's really not important. So you would just go and wrap everything into a function. That would be the function to do the entire request of your stakeholders. And then you might write some tests. And since this is a quick and dirty solution, the tests are like this. So let's say, for example, that we take the revenue from another reliable database and we compare it to what we got here. Of course, the tests pass because this is a demonstration. So you're over the request part. So this is a function that you need to automate. These are a couple of tests that will tell you that you're going good. So you would need, for example, now to do the engineering side, the data engineering side. What would that be? So you would need to, for example, go over the fake transactions table and get all the things that you need from Google's BigQuery. Of course, this is a fake transaction thing, so it wouldn't work. You would need to go to the SharePoint folder and write a pipeline for that. You would need to do what you already did. So monitor the transactions. We did that before. And then save to Google Cloud Storage, create the SQL query to go into your organization's database, and then update your looker table and all that. So I didn't fill up these last functions because there's a way. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. So that would be the wrapping up of a quick and dirty solution. It can be done really fast and it would work right off the bat. Yes, so well done. You did it very fast, very efficient. It works, and bravo. So the next, obviously, logical question to ask yourself after this success would be, you know, come on, where's my promotion? It was so fast, so efficient. Come on. Nonetheless, the stakeholders are going to be, wait up, there's more. So following this dazzling success of your very fast and efficient implementation, the stakeholders of your and other departments are sliding in your DMs with increased number of requests by the minute. So some of these could include like adding alerts to this previous task that you completed that would appear in your company's messaging service. You could be using Slack, or for example, we're using Mattermost for sudden changes. And other stakeholders and other departments are asking you to investigate in the same manner other tables with different characteristics, etc., and doing a similar pipeline. So there's a lot of things going on, and the fast and dirty solutions are just gonna be too much of a grind at one point. So going on for the second demonstration, we're gonna go to the standardization part. So I'm gonna go bullet by bullet here to not confuse you guys. So some of the benefits from standardizing the most common data pipelines is firstly reusability. You don't need to rewrite the same code over and over again, copy and pasting modified pipeline files to different projects and finding what the best version of your past work was. All your important tools and pipelines, I'm going to the second bullet now, all the important tools and pipelines are gathered in a single reference point. You don't have to search your local folders, etc. Next, you can maintain this. It will be a repository, so you can have a commit history and you can easily go through the development of this pipeline, of this standardization pipeline. After that, we have reproducibility and flexibility because we can have a versioning information, and different use case and users can all accommodate their needs into this standardization. After that, you could it's something you can share and collaborate with your colleagues and peers. It's something that can be well documented and up to date, one of the most important things. And the final 2 points is that when you start a project, having standardized your most common pipelines, you kickstart the project with a very significant and very reliable head start. And finally, you can more easily onboard a new team member, so you can quickly show what are the basic tools, what are the basic pipelines to quickly get them up and running in the team. So what are the proposed steps for this meetup? To practically, like you could do this today, tomorrow, build your own simple data engineering standardization framework and use it in your day-to-day job. So I'm going to go through them in the demonstration, but to quickly tell you what I'm going to do, we're going to gather the most used data pipelines and functions in a structured and documented manner, because you have the time ability to do this. You're structuring it so you can have good documentation, a good structure. You're not rushing into it. We will add them in a remote repository. You could be using GitLab, GitHub. For this presentation, I'm using my personal GitHub. You're going to see about it. But it has to be accessible by your team to make sense for your organization. And then we're going to make this installable, so we can grab it whenever we want, from whenever we want, like from a Google function, from any machine or a virtual machine. And another step would be to create a template project, which I'm a very big fan of, so that every project that you do, or your colleagues on your teams, can have at least at its basis a common code structure, along with some basic testing setup, that like the bare minimum, I would say. And then you could just clone the project, the template project, install your engineering framework, and then you have a very nice kickstart to your next project at hand. So let's go to the second demonstration. I hope I didn't tire you enough, guys, already. So let's go for step number 1. I want to remind you that step number 1 was to gather the most used data pipelines and functions. So here I have this file, this etl.py file. It's a big file. A most proper way would be to separate all your different functions. You're gonna see here in this structure that we have all these classes, which all represent like as a tool in quotes. So it is not really efficient to go right there and import all these libraries. Not really efficient, but for the sake of not having too many things to present here and confuse you guys, I put them all in one. So I'm going to go through them really fast. So since you are gathering all your tools and pipelines, you can have everything you need here. So an important thing is logging. So you can have a logging setup exactly as you want it. So you don't have to copy and paste the same file over and over again, or the same code to incorporate your logging setup. You can just go and get it right off the bat. Side note, for those who are not familiar, I'm gonna use data classes in this setup. I'm not gonna go in depth. It's the same as classes, but with some less code. So another thing that you have to do in every project is the authorization pipelines, as we discussed earlier. So you could have your secrets in Google, for example. It's a very common procedure, and then you could just pick the secrets and the clients and all that you need to access your APIs. So for example, in our fake project, we're getting our fake Looker secret, and we are accessing our Looker clients, our GCP clients, and our BigQuery clients, and this is all right off the bat. And then we have SharePoint operations, reading and downloading files from SharePoint and uploading, file operations, compressing, decompressing, pickling, Looker operations, like executing a query and getting it into a data frame from a CSV format, getting a looker is a combination of measures and dimensions from Looker. As I said before, it's never mind if you are not familiar with Looker. It's just an operation on this tool. SQL operations, like creating an SQL command from a data frame that you're using in your script, either by a plain string operation or using SQL Alchemy or whatever else tool you want. We have GCP operations, Mattermost operations. Now, Mattermost operations are our messaging service, as I said before. BigQuery operations, datetime, data frame, and everything else that you want to include. For example, alerting. So this is a compilation of all our important tools and pipelines that I personally use and many of my colleagues use in their day-to-day work. And a big advantage, as I said before, is that you can maintain this and document this and have this in a single reference point. So for example, there is guidelines here that you wouldn't take the time to write in every single quick and dirty solution. So that was the first step. The next step, as we said, is to add this file to a remote repository that can be accessed by your team. So I'm using my personal repository. So this is public. You could go and see it. Is one of the benefits of this presentation. I'm able to share things with you to kickstart your own project really fast. So there is nothing really sophisticated here. I just uploaded a folder here in PyData ETL pipelines called ETL pipelines. And within it, I have the same file that I just showcased. It's this one. And the only thing that it requires to become a package, both locally and here in the repository, is just this dunder init.py file. Dunder is __ file. That, and also a setup.py, which has very minimal information. The name of the package, really important. The version, also quite important. Major version, minor, and patch. That would be 1.0.0, most common one. And then some other information, not really that important. Packages, you could go for find packages. I had one, so I just put it there. And then what this package requires. So you can see I have a lot of requirements because, again, this is a showcase. So I have this package in the remote repository as it was, step number 2. And I have made it installable as it was step number 3. Now we have to create a template project for our most common code structure. So that would be something like this. So I'm actually gonna go through this in IDE, so it's easier for you to see. So I'm gonna just grab it and go and git clone it. So I'm just going to open a PowerShell here and go git clone. Yes, so we can easily get into this. Actually, let me rename this because that's what you would do. My awesome project. Yes, so you are in your awesome project. Very nice. Let's get in here as well. My awesome project. Cool. So what do we have here? Let me open it as in PyCharm, which is easier to see. There we go. Okay. So yes, we're going to do that in a second. So we have our requirements, we have our git ignores, we have everything that we need to get started. We don't have to write it all over again. Git ignores, requirements, tests, anything. So we could have our code base under source and tests under tests. So this is already really nice. It can save you some minutes of organizing your files as you would normally do. So let's make this a project. So we did everything, and we're at step number 5. We're gonna start a kickstart and data engineering project. So what do we need to do? Let me grab my cheat sheet here. You're gonna see it. Yep, let's go back to this cell, and let's do the following. So we're going to create a virtual environment just for this presentation. So PyData environment, yes. Just to have a clean start. You could do this on your own environment, but just for the showcase, I'm going to use a clean one. So I'm in Windows, so I have to do something that if you work in Linux or Mac, you probably don't have to do. It's just to allow for this activation. So we have our environment, it's right there. And now we're going to just activate it. Yes, like this, scripts and activate. For those of you not familiar with Git, it's a way to keep track of what you're doing. I'm not going to get into detail, So we have an active environment here, so we can see that it is clean. We just created it. Yes. So what I would like to do now is to yes. So another thing that I want to show you is, yes, so I have two requirements for this presentation. So one is with all the libraries that you would most normally use, and the other one is PyTest, just to have the testing infrastructure, to use the testing infrastructure that we have. And the other one is the packets that we did before, so the ETL pipeline that we have uploaded before. So the way that it works is that we have this it's the same URL that you would use in git clone. We are defining the branch that we're using, and we're defining the module that we want to use. So I'm going to just go in and say pip install our requirements.etl, and it's going to grab everything and install it. It's not going to take too long. I have tested it. While this is working, we have another job to do, and that would be to fix the Git structure of this project. So since you downloaded this, since you cloned this from your template project, it carries the commits and it is connected to your project repository. So this one, what we would like to do, go away. Anyway, yes, what we would like to do would be to have this PyData demo. So we would like our awesome project to come here. So I'm just gonna copy this. Okay, this is installing. Sorry about that. Yes. So what we're gonna do is this. We're going to detach our remote. So this is just to showcase the Git side of this pipeline. So we're going to detach the origin of it. Yes. We are going to remove the commit history by doing git checkout orphan or branch, new branch. Yes, so this is now a new branch with no commit history. We will see where we are. We have all these files that we need to add. We don't want to add the PyData environment there, so I'm going to add it separately. Git ignore, yes. README, yep. Requirements, source, and tests. So Git status would be, yep, everything is ready to be committed. So let's commit them. So first commit of this awesome project. Yep. Cool. So now we have committed them, and we are in new branch. We're going to delete the main branch, which we don't want, and we are going to rename our own branch main. Yes. And now we will add. Do I have this? Yes. We're going to add the remote that we want. Remote add origin. Yes, and just push it. So push you into origin main. Yep. So if this goes well, we're going to have all our files right here in our PyData demo, which is cool. Nice. A pat on the back. So I'm done with the Git. Let's go back and see if this is installed. It looks installed. Let's test it. So the way to test it, it would be to go and do this Python -c, and let's try to import it. ETL pipelines. It works. No error. It works. So we have our package. We have our project template. We can now go ahead and test it. So we're gonna use the interpreter that we have created all this time. A moment. for this to load. Yes. Let me add the interpreter. Yes. Cool. Okay, so let's go to main and let's try out a couple of things. Let me try this. So from ETL pipeline, how did I call it? I don't remember. Just a moment. ETL. Okay. Okay, so that would be ETL. It's still indexing. Just a second. Yeah, PyCharm likes to take its time. All right. There we go. Nice. No module ETL pipeline. That is awesome. Okay. Oh, it's ETL pipelines, right? Yes. So you can see that we have our logging setup right off the bat right here. Very easy to use. We can actually also showcase something else. So again, from ETL pipelines, ETL, we could do a looker operation. So select from a fake table and from nowhere. This will fail, of course, but you can see how easy it is to access this. So you would go just looker ops, and you could have your get looker look execute query, and you can have your own documentation all at your hands, right? Like after 3 minutes after you started your project. And there are many other things. I'm gonna just present a final one, the alerting one. So let me delete all this so it's not so you can understand what I'm doing. So yes, ETL, so alerting ops and Mattermost ops. Let me fill out these. Actually, I don't. So with this pipeline, this like 10 lines of code, you have a ready exception handler to add to all your projects, and it will notify your organization's channel. Very convenient, very easy, like in 10 lines of code that you have already written and can maintain. So that was all for the second demonstration. Yes. Let me go back to my, yep. So final thoughts to close this presentation. It is really worth the investment of tailoring and maintaining a data engineering framework according to your need, to your and your team's needs and most common pipelines. And we will most likely, will definitely, pay dividends and be of great value. Since as you get more senior and get more time in this your organization, you will have a constant stream of similar requests, and they would have similar specifications. So in this presentation that you've just seen, there was no like ultra sophisticated code or procedures like previous pipelines with deep theoretical background, but the main ambition of it was to inspire data professionals and enthusiasts to escape their quick and dirty habits and provide them with practical demonstrations and steps as to really get started in standardizing their own processes, thus helping themselves and their colleagues. Furthermore, the content that you just saw is available, as I said, to my personal GitHub repository. I'm going to show it one last time. So it's Vasileios Mourtakos, this bald dude. PyData, ETL pipelines. So the content that you just saw is actively being utilized by me, and I'm trying to suggest it to my colleagues and to help both me and my colleagues in our day-to-day work. And I really hope that you can yield some interesting ideas out of these steps that I presented and the contents of these pipelines to structure your own tailored custom framework. So to close this, two really interesting quotes to inspire you to build your own standardization framework. The first one is the first 3 lines from the Zen of Python from Tim Peters, the founder of the language. So beautiful is better than ugly, explicit is better than implicit, and simple is better than complex. Always simple is better than complex. And an observation from Taylor Huggs, co-founder of a photo sharing app called Cluster. He told us that from his decades of being developing this app, one of his biggest lessons as an engineer was that novelty and optimization are the enemy of durable long-term code, which most of the times is true. So with that, I really hope I didn't tire you all too much. I really want to thank you for your time and attention, and I'm open to any questions. Thank you very much.
Vasily, hi. I just wanted to point out that Christos left, so I think you're the host now. So if you want to stop the recording for questions,
should I stop the recording for questions?
I guess people would be more comfortable maybe asking questions.
Of course. Let me just find out how to do it. Stop recording. Easy. Yes.